Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where January period has gone through, most of February too, for that matter. We made one signing in January. I'll get you caught up. That man's name is Facundo Prieto, 28 years old, from Argentina, not a real person, one of the new-gen fill-ins for the Argentina League. He's come from Talleres. We paid £6 million up front for him. Yeah, his acceleration pace split is odd, but it doesn't seem to be holding him back. Because in the 3 starts he's had so far, he's scored 4 goals, 3 from 2 in the league with an average rating of 8.1. They've all been pretty good goals, but the highlight was the first one. And it's not just him in this move as well, it's the entire move. First touch, Prieto, finish. Lovely. I might have exclaimed out loud, just noises at that point, but it was part of a 4-1 victory over Huddersfield in the 4th round. We're now in the 5th round. That ties the second game today. But since we last met, of course, which was the victory over Brighton in the FA Cup, we beat top of the table Arsenal 3-2. We also got a penalty for the first time in what feels like 3 years. They had a man sent off. Genuinely, it feels like the first time we've had a game where the nonsense has gone in our favour. We had a penalty, they had a sending off, they still scored twice. They scored from a cross, so it wasn't entirely all nonsense one way. Bukayo Saka scored from a cross. And then we lost 3-2 away at Chelsea, who are our 5th round opponents, so revenge would be nice. Anyone who's owned Yusuf Fofana in fantasy football in January, they've certainly got their points out of him. Scored against Aston Villa in the match you saw, scored against Arsenal, scored twice against Chelsea, scored against Bournemouth, and then no one scored against Brentford, and then he got injured. So I am damn glad to get a striker in who is scoring now, because Carlos Eduardo was chipping in with goals either side of his injury, so we can't really look at that one too much because he obviously was injured for a fair whack there. Those two together would be quite nice. But Carlos Eduardo was sent off against Brentford in that 2-0 loss, which also featured the 2 injuries to Ballard and Fofana. Unsurprisingly, the momentum shifted after the sending off. It was all us up to that point, according to the momentum. Not immune to nonsense still, but 2-1 victories over Liverpool, who were also top, and Burnley, meaning that we are essentially just dictating where the title goes by just beating everyone at the top there. Chelsea have now squeaked themselves into 7th. They sort of returned themselves into the picture, but the European picture got a lot more interesting. Although it might have gone the other way a little bit. Leeds do have a game in hand which could make them rejoin on 40 points. We play Leeds now away from home. We win this game, we get to 45 points. Chelsea have already played their game this week. They're on 43. So depending on how Arsenal and Wolves fares, we could end up in 7th. We do, of course, have our men back from the African Cup of Nations as well. I didn't check who won it, but I know Ola Aina was there for a while, so I suspect Nigeria. Sanchez in goal. Small, Avalos, Stones, Johnny. Aaron Martin took an injury as well in all that. Sangre, Markovic, Hesham, Toussaint, Prieto and Saunders. I've just swapped the 2 roles over as well. Prieto over Saunders on the left-hand side. He's right-footed. Why have I done that? Oh well, it's working. Genuinely trying to work out why I did that. Because that was a deliberate change on my part. Why did I think he was left-footed? I must have just thought he was left-footed for some reason. Just like they got Botman on their bench. I'll be going to Newcastle in real life. That confirmation may have actually gone through by the time this goes out live. They bought a goalkeeper recently. I don't know what they did with Meslier. They bought Mantle off Salzburg for about 20 million in the January. I don't think Meslier is on their bench. I think they've sold him. Meslier was sold to Frankfurt. It's not good in this save. Did they nerf Meslier in the January update? Because his star rating isn't solid. I'll give him a scout. Don't need him. I've got Avalos in the wings waiting once he gets a work permit. But there's Small. He finds Prieto. Prieto finds Hesham. That's a lovely little dink. And he's gone back to Prieto. Prieto's unbelievable. The text says Exeter City are red hot, but it's basically just one man firing that oven. That touch is fantastic. And then the finish is sublime. We effectively fake out their goalkeeper with Hesham, and he just gives it back to Prieto to pop it past the goalkeeper from 18 yards. Oh, you may have also noted, they've all got faces now properly. It did work this time round. So I don't really know what went wrong last time. Like I say last time, it's either, oh god, they've got the ball in a dangerous position and punished us. We nearly bought Liam Delap off Leeds when they were relegated. That one hurts. Because he would have come. It's just this price tag deterred me. Yeah, that is just, once again, hissing around at the back. Sorry to use a semi-sort of rude word there, but I have to call it like it is. For a team that plays with central defenders and not ball play, I mean, that wasn't the defenders, that was the midfielders. That's a physics-defying tackle from Small there, but it's got its way to Saunders. Gotta love the match engine. Not the graphics engine, I should say. The match engine probably had a legitimate tackle in that, but the graphics engine went, I'm going to make his leg go the wrong way. Sangre puts the ball in, doesn't get to anyone in particular. Small. We're not playing with... Oh, we actually do have Avalos on the bench. Maybe we should focus on him at corners today. Just because Eduardo took a suspension. It's got pushed to 3 matches, but I think he's back. Yeah, he's on the bench. Aggressive, says his body language. That boy got sent off for an elbow, which when you're 6'8" is basically head height for everyone else. I don't think it was intentional. I think he just jumped and his elbow happened to be at someone's head. There we go. We've got Avalos attacking near posters for the remainder of this game. I said they're doing well. It's 1-1. I don't know why I said that. It is away from home, I suppose. On the ball now, though, with Hesham. Both the midfielders from the African Cup of Nations did come back wanting a bit of a rest. So they both had a bit of a rest individually. So hopefully they should be okay for the rest of the season now. Johnny on this right-hand side dinks the ball in. Hesham's under it. He's headed wide. Playing well as a team. That is a corner for Leeds, which is always concerning because set pieces often provide nonsense. And this time we've cleared dramatically. Martin Saunders not with his not best game of the season. That's for... Well, I was about to make a change, but it looks like I'm going to be enforced into one. Angelo comes onto this pitch, and I can't really deal with Martin Saunders being terrible, so Carlos Eduardo is going to come on there. 2 South Americans on this pitch. Cherry Small. I think I might make all 3 subs on 71 minutes because Aaron Martin, back from his injury, I genuinely brought on Tiggers as a fullback because I ran out of them against Bournemouth because he can do it. Yeah, with injury to Martin, Olarine on international duty, things got a little bit tight. I was like, kind of worried about in a previous episode. Bershai digs this one in, bouncing around this it's bouncing around our box. That's a good ball and unfortunate punch back into the play. This is unfortunate. It's a really good save from Sanchez. It just happens to go. Fathy's come from that sort of batch of new gens that got generated into Brazil, I think it was. Yeah, Leeds have nicked a couple of those. I think Leeds might have actually nicked the most of anyone, including me. That's probably a lie, actually, thinking about it. Prieto, I've probably taken the most. Prieto, Carlos Eduardo, and Avalos. I've only taken 3, I think, actually, because 2 of them were regular new gens in those divisions. Angelo and Avalos was a genuine new gen from about 4 years ago. The goalkeeper Avalos, not the defender Avalos. I told you that was going to get confusing. Phillips, good head back. If we can get an equaliser here, I'll be happy with a point at Ellen Road. Whew, that felt overrolled for a second there. Hesham to Prieto. Carlos Eduardo all the way out to Aaron Martin. Back on this pitch. For the first time in about a month. I thought I was going to get to Carlos. Sangre's going to go for it. Oh my God, Sangre. Ivory Coast regretting not taking him to the African Cup of Nations, I imagine. We've just witnessed something spectacular. Mantle palms it out of the entire box. It's a heck of a punch out, really. But Sangre, wise to it, on the volley. That is sumptuous. We've got 6 minutes of injury. How do we have 6? I think there's been 2 injuries. That might be what's caused this. 1 for me, 1 for them. Angelo. Fine Stones, Johnny's there, and I thought given away, I thought there, but the graphics deceived me. Johnny, back to Angelo again. Now we've given it away, but we've gathered it back with John Stones. That was an excellent first touch pass from John Stones. Markovic, 33, not lost it just yet. Fafi, Leeds got the ball back. Phillips, who I did try to prize off them at one point, and it didn't go spectacularly well. Matthias Diaz might be another one of those players from Brazil/Argentina. I think Leeds might have had 3 as well. I think both ourselves and Leeds have had 3 apiece from those leagues. Does mug off Sanchez entirely there. Not great from Sanchez. He has been played there. Oh, there's another highlight. Can we get another equaliser? This looks like it might be a chance for them, though, unfortunately. That ricochets backwards, I think. Ochoa Jimenez, Bershide. Diaz finds Lawrence. Finds Fathi. Actually, I'm not sure where Ochoa Jimenez came from, because that might be a 4th. We've got the ball off Matthias Diaz, though, who just scored, and if he's the one to lose the possession here and give away the 3rd goal, because Prieto is not going to do that for once. The usually flawless Prieto. Sanchez has still walked out of there with a 7.4. He's conceded 3 goals from an XG of 1.6. Their goalkeepers conceded 2 from the same XG. How has my goalkeeper come out of that game with a better rating? We weren't good enough. 2 fantastic goals there, overshadowed by the fact we've lost the game still. 2 sides out for 4 weeks, and Paulson's got £1 million from the Martin Saunders deal, which takes that up to 3.4. Martin Saunders' face from the generator is a face that I absolutely expected from this. For an AI-generated face, spot on. It's exactly how I imagined him, quite frankly. Might need to rest the lads, actually, for Chelsea here, because that game's midweek. I thought it was on the Sunday. It definitely was on the Sunday. It's been moved. But I will say, before we deal with this FA Cup match, we'll just focus on the league just for a little second longer here. I wouldn't rule us out of Europe, but if we're going to get it, we get Euro Cup 2 via 7th, which could be a problem because the Carabao Cup's between Newcastle and Leicester. So we might get 7th, but it won't matter. In fact, it's guaranteed not to matter because there's no way Newcastle or Leicester get 6th, I don't think. So, yeah, it's going to be all for naught, I reckon. It's Burnley beat Man United. Huddersfield beat Man United recently. I don't know what Man United are doing. Huddersfield did the classic thing of getting, a few results in a row in January and got 12 points and therefore won't be the worst team in history. But yeah, they recently beat Man United to get those last 3. And speaking of the Carabao Cup, is in fact today. Aaron Martin gets another 1 to 2 day injury. Jesus, Aaron, can you just stay out of the wars, please? Now, I support Newcastle, but I actually prefer Leicester winning that one as things stand, because they're the ones more likely to get into an automatic European space. We do require Everton to collapse entirely, which is not outside the realms of possibility. Yeah, Everton 9 points ahead of Leicester as things stand already, so just a minor, because we have been through the January period, I have looked at end-of-season players. One of them was willing to sign with us, but wanted £150,000 a week. That player might have been Neymar. He's 34, but even so, I was still surprised he said yes. Even weirder was the fact that we could offer £85,000. That confused me. I thought that was Nicolas Soulé for some reason talking about our team. Through with Soulé. Just got the loan summary back through. The Prieto arrival does make things awkward for 2 people. One of those being the best loanee, Juan Carlos Benavidez, who's at Lincoln, but he was always going to be a sell-on player, I think. As soon as he arrived sort of way behind the pace of what I was hoping he was going to be, he was always going to be a sell-on player, and now his potential's capped off at 3, maybe 4. Could get 20 million for him. The big problem is Ciro Fernandez, who seems to have a bit more potential in him, playing at a higher level at Sunderland in the Championship currently, doing well there, 14 goals in 34, not bad, has a weirdly blurry face, but we'll just deal with it. His acceleration's gone up whilst he's there. He's worth a lot more. He becomes the problem. And Aaron Martin takes another 2 days from bruising himself again. Can someone get some bubble wrap? I think I know someone who needs it. As Liverpool lose to Wolves, what is going on in the Premier League right now? Wolves are suddenly consciously aware they're not going to get Europe in 7th, I think. I wish there was a place where I could find out how long left he's got on the studying my assistant manager, because I want to know when this is going to go through. Last time I had that thought, it was literally the same day as he finished it. No such luck this time, unfortunately. But yeah, that's one of the little minor quality of life things I would like from next year's game. It's just that little bit more transparency on those. I have no idea when he's going to finish that. Well, with Ola Aina out as well, I don't have a lot of options. Yeah, with injuries currently to Baba Mansley, Fofana and Ola Aina, I'm a little bit strapped for players. Daniel Ballard's just coming back and Aaron Martin's obviously injured too there, so thankfully it's only a 7-man bench this time, otherwise I'd have a bit of a struggle to complete it, I think. But Sanchez, Small, Avalos, Stones, Johnny, Sangre, Markovic, Hesham, Angelo, it's basically the same, I think, actually. The first 11 is identical, apart from Angelo. Chelsea are playing Abel Ruiz up front, which is a name I had genuinely forgotten about. Former wonder kid of Football Manager. Kind of disappeared a little bit in last year's game, but clearly he's still got some potential for him to end up at Chelsea this year in this save. So I think I'd seen him at Dortmund on a different save either last year or this year. But yeah, he sort of faded a little bit, like a pretty much a standard go-to in FM20 at least, and possibly the first versions of FM21. It might be nerfed in January for that one, but yeah, just good to see him again, actually, because I've had him a couple of times before, naturally. Prieto's in, and Prieto scored. You can't stop him. You can't stop Facundo Prieto. I have genuinely never had a signing like this, possibly in any save ever, where they've just signed and immediately been sensational. Like I'm just trying to think of this year's saves. Even at Hanover, when we brought in Makoko on loan in the Bundesliga 2, it took him about 5 or 6 games to score, and then he was unbelievable and scored like 13 in the last 10 games. But it took those few games for him to get going. And he's playing in sort of the same country, so there's no sort of assimilation stuff going on there either. I'm not going to lie, I hesitated over signing him. Even at £6 million, I was thinking, don't need another striker, but I can get him for 6. And now he's scored 6 in the first 5 games. He does have £3 million after 50 games, by the way. But if he's played 50 games, that £3 million is well worth. The one thing I do like about Prieto is the fact he is 28, so we do have him now for the next few years as a player in their prime, as Sanchez with an unbelievable save there. Not the end of this highlight, but I was just thinking there's a chance we get Europe here. It might be worth to get a proper full-on next-level striker now to help maybe push on that little bit more. There goes Hesham, clean through the middle. Please kick it across the goal. He has. It's 2-0. We're away at Chelsea. I should say the away game that we played against Chelsea in the league, which we lost 3-2, it was a pretty even game on paper. It could have gone either way, so the fact it went Chelsea's way was mildly unfortunate, but not completely unexpected. In a sort of similar way, in a sort of similar fashion, the way that this one's going in our favour, really, because it looks quite even on paper, statistics-wise. Mount out to Pulisic. A lot of Chelsea players still at Chelsea, surprisingly, sort of 6 years in. When you consider it's, Chelsea, Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on, for instance, for Kai Havertz. Sangre puts the ball in. That's a penalty. It's hit a hand, ? Which means it's hit a hand. Jerry Small on a 6.4 and booked. One player just deciding he doesn't want to be any good at all in this match. Stones steps up. Sorry, Chelsea, I appear to have just accidentally taken LeMichael there. Why is Stones taking the penalty? Is he genuinely our best penalty taker? We don't have good penalty takers. I've been through this before. We're quite frankly lucky to, at any given point, have a player with double-digit penalty taking. He's joint 11 with Carlos Eduardo, who isn't on the pitch. But yes, he is genuinely the best penalty taker. 11 penalties, 16 composure. 2 strikers, 9-15 for Prieto. Saunders has 5 penalty taking. Oh, with an hour gone, I'm going to bring on Longstaff and Markovic, who's tiring. I should really get Hesham off as well, thinking about it, because he's not properly fully fit either. But I genuinely don't have anyone else. What I might do is Angelo through the middle, bring Sangre up, and then just move everyone around and bring Arsby on, who for some reason who can do defender and midfield, but nowhere in between. In fact, just because everyone is booked in that back line, I'm just going to do that. And then Johnny for Castillo for the last one. We're going to get sending off here, I think. It just sort of feels like it's building towards a sending off. I did try to get a midfielder in, by the way. Just no one really took my fancy that was out of the available options. Even loans. Like loans that would have cost me about £2 million all told for half a season. There was a challenge there by Small, which had me concerned. I think we'll praise the lads, because why not? We're 3-0 up. Longstaff puts the ball back across. Angelo's not under that. Small is under that one, though. Stones will find Soyuncu. It's gone back to their goalkeeper, who's rolled it back out again now. I mean, their back line's booked as well, though. Hudson-Odoi through to Ascot. Must be a new gen. Don't recognise that one. Campbell. That's Fraser Campbell, by the way. Chelsea signed him for some reason. You know, the one who terrorised us at Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. That Campbell. When Crystal Palace got relegated last year, after he then signed for them because Sheffield United were relegated the previous year before that, Chelsea decided to buy him. Pulisic has pulled one back, but fingers crossed that's too little too late. There's a good cross from Ascot there, and we just don't have anyone tracking Pulisic for whatever reason. Castillo went wandabout. That's not a phrase. Wandering, walkabout. 2 different words. English is hard sometimes. Better with an excellent head down there that you may not have just caught, but it's all come for naught in the end. Arsby, underneath this. Castillo, finds Sangre. Castillo, Saunders, Angelo. That's Saunders back in again, cross the goalkeeper. Oh, Martin Saunders. He's done that one before. He likes a little dink every now and then, does Martin. R. Martin. Don't know, this feels right to call him R. Martin, but this is... He's just done to the Chelsea goalkeeper, which is still Mendy, actually. He's just done to Mendy what that Leeds player did to our goalkeeper last match. Longstaff. Angelo's not on it. Prieto scored again. It's going to count. It's 5-1. Martin Saunders scored a free kick in that Huddersfield game as well, which, novelty. Don't get many of those. But we've actually scored from a free kick here, doing exactly what the AI normally do to us, which is the last man just completely unmarked. And we've inexplicably won a game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge 5-1. Well, if that isn't revenge for the... Terry Small ended that game on a 6.7. Do we suddenly have a run at the FA Cup? Because if we're going to get Europe, it's the only way. Manchester City's still in it. No, never mind. Luton were still in the 5th round there. We've got players on loan there. So after just 450 minutes of playing time, Facundo Prieto is our 3rd highest goal scorer. And only 2 goals away from the lead. 2 players ahead of them have 3 times as many minutes. Slightly unfortunate that Ciro Fernandez is not actually playing for us. Okay, quarter-final draw. Liverpool and Manchester City still in this. Don't like the fact that we were just written in that preview as being effectively the worst team. with teams such as Manchester City, Liverpool, and Exeter. Although we actually are probably the lowest rep remaining. Newcastle or Arsenal get Manchester City. That's a huge one. Spurs and Liverpool yet to play each other, so that's another huge one. We're going to get Aston Villa, Leeds, or Crystal Palace, or Man United. Wait, Palace are Championship. So it's Leeds again. Okay. Problem is that quarter-final's really, really soon. We've literally just played Leeds and it's really soon. I don't think I'm going to bring you it. If we get through it, I'll bring you the semi-finals, of course, which I suspect will pop in the middle of April somewhere. I think that's sensible. I think that's a fair compromise. I don't want to bring you every round of the FA Cup anyway, because otherwise we're going to be here all year. It's one more game. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's only one more game, but I think it's still sensible that we don't play them immediately again in another episode. So we'll try and get our event on, Leeds, and I'll bring you back either for the semi-final, and if we don't get through the FA Cup, I'll just bring you back at the end of the year, because it looks like this season might sort of fizzle out to being a bit of a nothing season again. Despite there being a tiny bit of promise, I suspect it might fizzle out again. So if we don't get through the FA Cup, I'll bring you back for the last two games, Man United and Newcastle. If we do get through, I'll bring you the semi-final, and whatever game is adjacent to it. Until then, ta-ra. Prieto, man, what a signing.